Perhaps you can write down on a piece of paper a technique that you want to improve. And we're going to really focus using this process, like a laser beam, to improve to the best of our ability that area. So we're going to choose a skill or a technique. Next week, I mentioned we'll use this process for match situation, game situation. But for this one here, we're going to really focus. And I'm going to sort of guide you. I'm going to use an example of how you would do this for striking the ball. And obviously, if your positions involve striking the ball, you're a keeper, then you go away, you write another script. So I'm going to guide you through this process step by step. That's the sort of key to it. And then obviously, we're going to move forward. So here, we've got obviously 100 of the most talented, in my view, players there is, and we want to make sure that you also fulfill potential. But the key thing is, first of all, guys, is when you do rehearsal for a technique, we do what we call this scripting. And you can adapt this for a free kick, penalty, pass, doesn't matter. But the key thing is you've got to be crystal clear, guys. Yes, great point. For tactic as well. Tactic is, and we'll do tactic next week, absolutely. Tactic is really important because it builds a pathway in the brain. So great question. For this week, we're going to focus on the skill. But tactic is really important too, because if you don't know what you're doing on the field, then you've got no chance. Doesn't matter how good you are. So you've got to be really clear. You've played the game in your head before. You've got the advantage of the other player. So you've got to be clear with the coach about the technique. You've got to be crystal clear technically. Even if you watch yourself, video, I've said before, video yourself playing. Obviously, I don't know what the rules and regs are on video in games, but you can video at least yourself, even in practice, and you can watch yourself. And then you can sort of break it down in chunks, like memorizing a phone number. And also, I'm going to suggest that what you do is you imagine, or at least teach someone else the technique. So you teach someone else the technique. By teaching them, then you memorize it better. So here's an example of striking a ball. You tell yourself, well, I'm feeling completely relaxed and confident. I feel the grass under my feet. I see the ball clearly. I focus where I want the ball to go. I'm moving to the correct position to strike a ball. I'm moving towards the ball on an angle. My non-kicking foot is pointing the direction I want the ball to go. I feel my body in the correct position and follow through for the strike. I watch the ball leave my foot and travel over the wall, traveling past the keeper right toward the corner I was aiming for. The ball hits the back of the net, and I feel the excitement of scoring a goal. So that's the sort of key. But what we're going to do, I'm going to run through this with you now. So I'm going to run through this with you now. Now, obviously, you can adapt the technique. This is a generalized script for striking a ball. You can adapt a technique for a pass. You can adapt it for a long pass, for a strike, for a free kick. We focus on the process is the key. The outcome, we know what we want to do, we want to score a goal. We can put that to one side. We need to focus on the process. That's the key. The process is what we focus on. And the more you do it in your brain, and the key thing is you do correct practice. It's not just about practice, it's doing the correct practice. If you don't practice correctly technique, it's not doing you any good. So that's why I said last week, you find a player who does something you'd like to do well and you adapt it. You speak to a coach, you're really clear. You need to be really clear in your mind, crystal clear about technically. Like, for example, if you're speaking to, say, a 5-year-old, if you were teaching a 5-year-old and they couldn't understand it, it's too complex. You've got to be really clear in your mind what the structure, the technique is. I'm going to guide you through this, because what you do is like watching yourself on TV, and then when you've got it like you want it, you step in the screen. So what I want to do now, if you're sort of comfortable enough to close your eyes, I'm going to guide you through striking the ball. Obviously 100 plays here, you adapt it, but this sort of sets you off in the right direction. What I want you to do is to choose an area. This week is all about us improving a technical component in your game. If it means you staying back half an hour every day, practicing your free kick, then so be it. If it means you practicing your pass against the wall half an hour a day, then so be it. But there's only so much you can do physically before you overtrain, and there's other things you need to do, like, and also logistics of getting into a field and finding someone to practice. or maybe practicing too much long passing and your muscles go into overuse. So this is where you do things with the mind, imagery. So maybe you sort of practice for 20 minutes free kick physically, and you do another 10, 15 minutes visually, or maybe you sort of practice. But we're gonna take our game this week to a new level, one component of your game. And bit by bit, we do this every week, and we keep taking components of our game to a new level, then we'll see where we end up. So if you want to close your eyes, you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can do. You know, sit back and I'll guide you through it. The first thing you need to do when you sort of close your eyes, it blocks out the outside world, is just imagine going back to a time when you felt calm. It could be on a vacation, on the beach, going for a walk, just really tapping into a point, and you notice your breathing slows down, you breathe slower, you exhale slightly more than you inhale, maybe 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out through the nose. And now you can imagine yourself on a screen. If you can't imagine yourself on the screen, start by imagining maybe the color of your front door. Imagine, say, an orange, or you just imagine, it doesn't have to be like a 3D film here, just the basis of it, and see yourself. Now we're going to sort of see the script. We're going to break it down so you feel completely relaxed and confident, and you imagine seeing yourself with the grass under your feet, the ball, you can see yourself clearly on the grass, like watching a screen. You focus on where you want the ball to go, like we saw on the other video, the goal kicker said, and you move in direction. You see yourself like watching a screen in slow motion, and then you see yourself moving towards the ball on an angle, and you can see the power and timing in your body, and you see your foot striking the ball crisp, and you hear the sound, and you feel it exactly on the spot of the foot, and you can see yourself in the correct position following through the strike. Then bang, the ball travels past the keeper, top corner where you're aiming for. You can hear it and feel it hit the back of the net, and you feel the excitement of scoring. When you've got that perfect the way you want it, and you can see yourself, then you imagine stepping in the screen. And as you step in the screen, once again, you're doing it in the here and now, imagining. You feel completely relaxed and confident. It's almost like you can feel the grass under your feet, and you can see the ball clearly on the grass, and you focus on where you want the ball to go. And you move in, you imagine moving into the correct position in order to strike the ball, and you're moving towards the ball on an angle, and you can feel the power and timing in your body. You feel your foot striking against the ball in exactly the spot you want to strike it. You feel your body in the correct position for following through from the strike, and you imagine watching the ball over the wall, traveling past the keeper in a top corner where you're aiming for, and the ball hits the back of the net, and you feel the excitement of scoring. Okay, so just when you're ready to come back to here, there's a whole chapter in here as well, chapter 1473. Obviously, some of you've read it, some haven't. I suggest you read it. We ask any questions, but remember, for this week, the task for this week, you choose a skill or a technique you want to improve. You get crystal clear. Whether you speak to a coach, you watch a performer, do both, and you go out there and you practice it for, say, 10, 15 minutes every day physically to get it like you want it, and then you visualize it after you've practiced it, and we take our game to a new level. Okay, we take our game to a new level, and we're going to keep taking our game to new levels, guys, every week. That's the whole idea. So I'm going to sort of take some questions now and sort of discuss any sort of key points that you want to